Okay, so I had I had a 1980s holiday in 1991, let's say, to fix like my marriage in 1995, 96, that was supposed to happen, that has not, even to this day, because they threw me into the Lost My Children in New York City in the, what they call Western, horrific modernization of civilized people. I think they're the most disgusting, atrocious humans on the face of the earth. This is humanness at its most disgusting. Wherever I was in 1991, however, by the way, I arrived to this level of disgusting humanness, which I hated. And I was begging to get to they kept saying it was third world nations that way, and we're in what's called civilized, and I'm like, right, yeah, no, there's something wrong with that definition, right? So where civilized is where I was the royal with my Sweden love, although that got confusing because then there was like a tall stand-in of another color that had to learn levels of royalty because even his people have forgotten that when the one color Swedes, we'll call it, come, they are the witch doctors that help some of the others between the real tribal men law, and sometimes the woman doesn't want to speak, but she will either counsel quietly or she will, because she's respectful. Because the civilized Western thing was a question with, right, reports of she's screaming. Who's she screaming at? She's screaming at everybody across the water so they hear her going, "This is what they left me in! Why did we do all that work up ahead?" I just heard there's a woman over here by the name, in this civilized New York that I call a cesspool, Susan Lucci. She's a cesspool person. SUSANLUC. Nobody knows. She's a client of my mom. Has to work beneath Susan Lucci, who has her money in a bank that Robert Stack runs, at Merrill Lynch, at Bank of America. Nobody, whatever, did anything correctly. And Susan Lucci is talking about getting a PPP payout because she's a business owner and business has been stalled because of COVID. Now, Linda, my mom, doesn't get such money. She doesn't even get the option in this civilized Western world of wherever I woke up. Eastern world, where I was, where there was a camel, a Swede, a second color Swede that really wasn't Swede, but for the moment the example he was, with some really smart men that I thought were way more civilized than what I had, which I was trying to get rescued from the civilized, right? I was like, right, you don't even crack an ostrich egg because you don't want to take the life, because then you have to give a life in order for the balance to, right, I get that. That's where I belong. Why is it that you keep tossing me back with the colostomy children, like Susan Lucci's, who wants money for making TV soap opera? Like, this is not what I mean, I went warfare one way, and now I'm getting advanced genomic warfare above, like, the classification of things that keep touching to punish me. for being the one who didn't want to be here to begin with. But they apparently sold me to the Western world, somehow, I don't know how, in order to advance themselves with hospitals and advanced equipment. Like, I know what, like, right, Joe, sorry about that one, but MRIs, magic machines that take x-rays of the insides of their bodies. Like, these are advanced medical stuff that only the ship people on the water get. The land people are not supposed to have these things. They're just not. After the telecommunications problem with world security and global security, we said you weren't allowed to have any more advancements in this whatever. And trapping me here was not going to help stabilize anything either. I wanted to be returned to where I belong in arid and much more classy and civilized than the pornography, money-hungry, civilized that I wasn't even to their classification because I was so, I mean, they were at a much more advantaged situation than I. So now, why is it I got thrown back in like 93 to go back to high school of wasting time that I didn't want to spend with anything Western? I belong with my betrothed. Why am I this way with the Susan Lucci? I'm supine Swede on the dorsal back, the dorsal fin, right? It's F-I-N. Only fish have that, right? I belong on the dorsal fin of a camel. With the Swede that looks Swedish, traditionally, or customarily, not the stand-in. So why am I in the wrong hemisphere, and why are the wrong people being punished? I mean, you took an ostrich egg to make medicine as a medicine man, to do some procedure, right? Like glue, got that. But why is that sending me in a year 2020? Still no money, no aid. I've been punished, like, unbelievably, with sores on my head, drugs like you wouldn't believe. They've taken my reputation and they flushed it down the toilet along with my name in quiet places that know things that sell secrets, including your good officers and men around the world. All for some walkie-talkies and some video games on magic controllers that the children don't need and don't deserve. And some medical procedures that now other children that nobody ever wanted to know what they looked like or smelled like or whatever are starting to move in. I'm just curious. When does this actually get better for the god? I'm the Matterhorn. I want to be Rushmored over to the Matterhorn, and I never want to leave Matterhorn territory. Instead, I'm in New York City, which is the side of the disgusting cesspool of civilized people that is by the Mount Rushmore. If you take, like, I don't know how many days by foot, it's a lot. If I got, like, I'm not even doing forts and clicks, because nobody goes that far, nobody fucking cares. Like, just fucking end it, cut it off. I mean, like, get me, how do I get, how many of these, like, colostomy shitbags like Susan Lucci do I have to sell to the witch doctor that doesn't want to, like, crack an egg because he's afraid of taking a life, because then he has to give a life? I will give you every single one of these white people just to get me the fuck out. How do I do that?